Oh, hello, welcome to Heroes Power Comic Club. There was supposed to be a video intro there, but I guess I forgot to load it. So, whoops. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Comic Conversations. So I'm not gonna mess around. We're just gonna go ahead and bring on my guest. He's not originally from my home state, but he is a Kentuckian now. So please welcome a fellow transplant Kentuckian, Bubs World Comics.
Hello. Howdy,
Hello.
everybody in the YouTube land.
And the only YouTuber I've actually met in person.
Still?
How you doing? Yep. So far.
Surprising. Yeah, are you planning to go to Heroes, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Heroes. I got a little bit of money saved. I hope to get at least $1,000 to spend. We'll see. I'm almost there.
That'd be great.
I'm almost there. Well, I'm looking for some books. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to bin dive. I'm not going bin diving. You know what I mean? I'm going for specific books like G.I. Joe #1, Captain America 117, Uncanny 141, 142, and 266, and stuff like that. So, hey, Derek. Derek, how you doing? I always see Derek around. He's a friend of the show. I always see him hanging out with my buddy Dave, West Coast Dave Ventures, and he's always on the claim sales there. Good to see you, Derek. I always see him on all the other shows too. So good to see you. We got about 3 people watching right now, but you know what? That's why we have replays for. So anyway, we'll just get started. I usually wing it, so I got a couple of questions in general, but we just let it go wherever it goes. So
all right.
It's not like the Jerry Springer show. There's not going to be like, so you claim that you were at home in bed on the 30th of May. We heard you were out at the strip club, or something like that. We heard you don't really collect comic books at all. What's up with that?
Could be. You'll have to catch me.
Yeah. So we'll start off always I kind of stole this question from Rob's Fat Stacks, on Only Slabs. What is your comic book collecting origin story? Were you bit by a radioactive spider? There was a guy that died and gave you his power ring, and now you're the Green Lantern of Sector 2815. Yeah.
Nope, nothing that extravagant. I collected as a kid, like most of us. My brother, he and I shared a room, and he collected a lot of Captain America and Spider-Man, and that was always just littered on the floor because we were messy kids. So it was always just books torn, covers shorn off, pages missing. So as kind of a fun thing, when I was home, he wasn't around, I would kind of dig around the floor and put comic books back together and see if I could get a whole complete comic and read it and then throw it back on the floor, just the way it was. So I guess that.
You know what? I have so many comics where the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. I didn't have any brothers, but I can relate to we didn't think about value. I just threw them around. We didn't have bags and boards, and
nope.
Like I had books, the cover come off of it, and we would just take the covers that came off and I'd make a collage on the wall, with them.
Yeah, so, never worried about it.
Looking back, maybe I shouldn't have, but it's okay. I got them all back, and we got some more. So, and I don't care what grade. I got this one. It's a grade. So that's what I was reading earlier. I was supposed to be. See, I used to have the video go up, and I'm going to go like this. And I always pretend like I'm reading, like Mr. Rock. Oh, hey, welcome back. But I didn't load the video today, so it's all right. But we can overcome it. Yeah, Ken, it's good to see you. Ken, it's a friend of the show, too. I need to make you a mod. And, Derek, I need to make you a mod, too. I've been meaning to do that. Well, anyway, so you started out like that. But do you remember, when did you start seriously collecting them? Like, okay, we're going to put them in bags and boards and put them in short boxes.
Well, when I was a kid, I collected X-Men, mostly, and Wolverine. That was my favorite character. And I liked the 90s cartoon and also the Secret Wars toys. We had a lot of those as kids. So that kind of, I was also a card collector. So I collected seriously at that time, even trading cards. So comic-related trading cards. So that's how I learned about most of the characters and most of the stories. Wasn't as much from reading comics as it was from looking at the back of the trading cards and learning about stuff like that. So then I'll make it real short. Then one day, I don't know what it's been now, 7 or 8 years ago, I I was going. They had the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention, you know. So I've been to that a couple times and brought my son, and I noticed that there was a Lego seller there that was doing really well, and I was like, man, that'd be cool. Get some free tickets and sell some Legos. So I had amassed this stock of Legos, and you know, in a Tupperware bin, like ordering from China, everything. Like I was going to be a vendor, right?
Yeah,
A Lego
yeah.
vendor. And then, long story short, I didn't end up doing that. So I ended up with this whole stock of Legos, nothing to do with it. So there's a comic shop in Somerset, as you know, a town about 40 minutes from me, and
Yeah.
they had a comic shop there. So I was like, well, I bet they'll buy my Legos. So I went in there and I made a deal. And part of the deal, I only had maybe $150, $200 worth of Legos there, which are a lot when you're buying from China. So it was a lot there. It was like a big Rubbermaid bin full of them. And I made a deal for like over $1,000 worth of cash and merchandise. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do the cash. And I was like, I'll take a store credit. And I said, and one more thing. And when I walk out, because I had seen something on the way in, after we had already shook on the deal, I was like, and one more thing. He's like, what? I was like, I want one book off the wall. He had a very modest wall, but he had a Wolverine limited series #1, you know, little Frank Miller action.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now the one where he's like this, where he's like calling you
Yeah. I
to
know he's got a
him.
clock like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it behind me.
So, yep. So I picked that off the wall. So that book restarted my collection. I still had a couple of books from when I was a kid, but that's what started the ball rolling because I had all this store credit. And then I would wait because you don't never want to give me credit. So I would wait, and when he had a big sale, like I wouldn't even go. And then when he had a big sale or buy one, get one or 20-30% off, whatever,
Yeah.
then I would go and use my credit. And I made that credit last for like a year, just robbing them at sales. And so then the collection just kept growing, and here we are.
Awesome. So did you get into? So I know you do a little selling on. Is it on the side or is that your full time thing
No,
now?
that's selling comics.
Yeah.
No, I just do that for fun when I have
Okay.
too many comics.
Okay.
I'm primarily a collector. I'm not really a dealer or a seller.
Okay.
I do tours, so like I'll buy a big collection in order to get what I need out of it, and
Yeah.
then that collection goes on tour, and I'll sell at shows and stuff. And then when it's
Okay.
done, and I feel like it's time for someone else to be able to sell it or have a good run with it, while there's still some good stuff in there, then I'll sell it off and
Yeah.
just say, "Yep,
Um,
that's it." You know.
that's kind of what I do. It just to like kind of like you're doing it. Just when I do a claim sale or something, or when I was selling on whatnot, which screw you whatnot. But anyway, um, if you're a seller, you know it's a good buyer's place. You can get some cheap books on there sometimes if you go to the right places. But what I'm saying is like it's just to like keep my hobby going, right? So I can save
Yeah.
up for a book or something, and it's a good little thing. I don't. Everybody's like, oh, you're just a reseller, and well, yeah, I resell the stuff I don't want, so I can get something I want. So that's always a good way to look at it.
So Quentin has a comment here that I should address because this is for those of you who don't know me. I'm a creature of excess. So I have to. So over the course of my life, I've built rules to control myself because I tend to go too far.
Yeah.
So one of the rules I have is, and I've had since basically the early start of this collection, was no more than 3,000 books. So when he says there's no such thing as a number, that too many is not a number, what's up, Chad? Too many is a number, and it's 3,001. That's too many books. So when I get close to 3,000 books, I scale and I sell off and distill the collection down to a tighter, more focused collection that makes me happy, as opposed to just collecting as many books as I can.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
what
know
I
that
try to
that's
do.
against
Yeah.
what a lot of people collect. So that's
That's
okay.
actually, that's what I try to do. I try to focus on certain, like, I don't collect runs of everything, but like there's some stuff that I will just grab a key of, like Amazing Spider-Man, or if it's a Todd McFarlane, because I'm a big Todd fan, or like anything, like if it's like an old one. I don't really have a lot of old ones yet, but one of these days. Or like, I collected the old G.I. Joe run or Captain America, but I try to focus on those and Uncanny because I think I try to focus on all that. Maybe I could do something later, but then I don't know if you do this, but I end up doing something like I was looking through some short boxes the other day. I noticed I had like 15 issues of Defenders, and I was like, does this mean I'm collecting Defenders and I don't even know it? Like I just kind of backed into it,
Right. So first, Matt, thank you. Yes, these are two of my favorite books. Yeah. Picked this one up at Lexington Comic-Con, first year I was there, and bought this from Alex the Comic Hoarder, a guy who's not as active as he used to be. He still puts out a video every now and then. So check him out if you get a chance. Alex the Comic Hoarder, bought that off him. One of his rare sales. Also, Quentin's asking, do I collect runs or keys? So look at Chad. Bubs doesn't mess around. When 3,000 is near, I have a few Bubs books from sell-offs. That's true. Yeah, when I get close, when I get to about 2,700, books are getting the axe. And I'll do a live stream and just say, have people help me weed them out. Sometimes I don't know key values and stuff like that. So the answer to the run versus keys. I started as a run collector because there's just certain runs that I just started falling in love with. So Wolverine, I have a Wolverine, everything from his first appearance, all his appearances up until his death. In the Wolverine Volume 1, if you will, and multiple volumes, right? So it's from the short series, basically, from all his X-Men appearances, I have all the Wolverine X-Men appearances up into his miniseries and then his proper volumes all the way up until he died, right? And then when he came back, those stories were so terrible. I just said, you know what? I'm going to leave that collection the way it is and not collect the modern stuff that was so terrible. I couldn't even read it.
I got some of the modern,
some of the miniseries since then have been good.
The new volume I have, but like the last volume was like all over the place. It was kind of rough to read, but
just garbage. I couldn't read it. And every now and then I'll pick one up and see, did I make a mistake? Maybe I should have collected beyond that, but I don't have a whole lot of luck. Other runs that I collect, I'll do modified runs. So, and that helps me stay in the zone. So for instance, I have a Catwoman volume 1 run, right? It might technically be volume 2, but it's the Jim Balent run. So I have the Jim Balent run until his last issue on that run. And even though there's only like 6 or 7 issues past that, I don't go past that. So I stop it there. Then other small, moderate runs. So I have a complete run of Werewolf by Night, including all his appearances in what's his in Moon Knight, right? I have all the Moon Knight appearances, and then I think he might have some, Tomb of Dracula. So I have that, and then I have a complete run of Spider-Woman, Volume 1.
The Bronze
Age. The Bronze Age, because that's only like a 50-issue run. So if it's a 50-issue run and I feel really passionate about the stories, especially, and the art, then I'll collect the whole run. Yeah. But while I'm doing that, I know this is eating into my $3,000 to my 3,000 books. So I have to be careful to not pick huge runs. And then I'll collect sets like the Adam Hughes set from Catwoman or the Adam Hughes set from Wonder Woman. So I collect those in sets. So I do collect runs, but I also collect sets, and then I collect keys, and then I collect, more art. So cover buys and art that I like and artists that I really enjoy. I collect a lot of artist groups. Yeah.
And like also like I've kind of like I had set a goal like you're talking about Wolverine. I'm a big Wolverine fan too, and I said I got all of Volume 1, the mini series. I got all that, but then I said I'm gonna get at least 1 through 100 of Volume 2 because when I stopped collecting when I was younger, I kind of stopped after like in the hundreds. So I just wanted to get like what I remember. Then I got it. I got it complete because but I did a deal with Buddy sending me the rest of them. I only lacked like about 16 books, and I worked out a deal for all the ones I needed. And now I'm like, well, there's only 183 in the run. Maybe I could just go on and get the rest of them. And so I'm doing that. But like also, I'll collect something like I won't go as far as like every volume of one. You know how some people I think like Mad Spotty does that. He's collecting, and my friend Splatter Santa, they want every issue. They keep buying Amazing Spider-Man, no matter what volume. They want all of Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't do that. I kind of cut it off at like, I just want to go to the certain, but like if it's something like, the death of Sabretooth or the death of Wolverine, yeah, I'll buy that. I'll throw it in there too. Or like Uncanny X-Men, I know what you mean by like certain sets of runs. Like I want the Uncanny X-Men that Claremont was on. Like when it gets to like after Jim Lee, like I'm stopped at 300 because I thought it got shitty after that.
Well, see, now I did the same thing. So I collected X-Men, right? The regular X-Men, not Uncanny, but the Jim Lee X-Men run. And then I stop at like 25 or something. There's like an event that happens because it coincides with like Wolverine losing his adamantium, right? So I keep all that. And then I cut it off, and I had more of that run. I had like first 100 issues, and then I sold the others, and I stopped at 25 and only kept 1 through 25. So I'll do that sometimes too. And I'm a Golden Age collector. So when I collect Golden Age stuff, I'm actually a Golden Age run collector as well. So I have a couple of runs in the Golden Age I'm working on, and that's very expensive and very time consuming to try and find those books at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So that's very difficult to be a Golden Age run collector. It's It's very
that is a very deep rabbit hole to go down, dude.
Yeah. So I collect, it's just rough, but it's fun, right?
I'm doing that with Batman Volume 1. I've started like kind of dabbling in Batman Volume 1, but I'm trying to stick to the 80s and 90s because it's kind of deep, dark water when you get into the Golden Age and Silver Age of Batman, especially the money you would be spending.
Yeah, if you stick to the second appearance of those characters, or rather the first Silver Age appearance of like all the Batman villains, that's obtainable. But when you go all the way back to the Golden Age, you want to get the first Catwoman, Joker, all that, it gets pretty rough. Even Riddler is kind of up there. So, yeah.
Catwoman. You can get the Silver Age one probably.
Yeah, I've got it here. I think it's in Lois Lane. I think it's a Lois Lane
better, but even like to me, sometimes I don't know how you feel. So, just another question. Do you? I kind of.
I'm sorry, you broke up there.
What did you say?
Oh,
I was saying.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. It's just I don't have it plugged. I'm working on Wi-Fi, so I need to get closer to the modem probably eventually. But I almost forgot what I was going to say, so it don't matter, I guess.
You're good.
But you know what Ozzy Osbourne once said, right? Of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. So, all right,
that's fair.
But no, I guess what I was trying to say was like some of that stuff. Just I'm like, okay, I don't think I can do that. But like, well, I know what it was. Sometimes I don't know about you, but I kind of start squirming if I'm sitting here thinking about bidding on something on eBay or whatnot that's expensive, or like $200. I'm like, I kind of start squirming in my seat a little bit. Like, oh, I get nervous spending that much money on a book, but I do it though.
Yeah. So I kind of do the opposite. So I was there for a while. I was really picking up a lot of small keys here and there, $20 books. And then I started bumping that up to about $50. Then when I started hitting $100 was about the same time that I started getting into Golden Age books. And your average book in the Golden Age is somewhere between $50 and $100 for low quality, if you will. A good book, but rough quality, low grade, we should say. So at that point, my ideas started shifting, and I was like, okay, well, let me identify a list of books that I really, really want. And then as I see someone show a book, I still watch YouTube and stuff. As I see someone show a book, or I'm made aware of a book, I'm like, I add it to the list if I like it well enough. And then I just hit that list. So anytime if I have a little extra cash or some money I want to spend on books, then I'm like, okay, well, is there any of these books available for sale? Any good ones? Any good deals? I'll focus in on, like I said, some Golden Age runs that I'm after. and have a hit list of those books and kind of chip away at them whenever I get the funds available, as opposed to just hanging out on eBay all day or watching the auctions like a hawk or watching YouTube sale videos or Instagram videos.
Yeah.
Like that's a good way that I would spend a bunch of money and then end up with 5 or 6 books that I like, but I don't love. And maybe I wish I hadn't spent the money on when I could have taken that money, bought one book that I absolutely can't put away because I'm so in love with it. So I kind of transitioned to that a little bit.
That's good advice, because sometimes I don't do that. Like I'll be like, oh, I want that one. I want that one. Like on a claim sale, I get carried away.
Oh yeah, it's easy to get carried. You're supposed to get carried away. That's why they're having it.
Yeah. And like we were discussing before, we came online. We came on the stream live. Like I'm trying to do that too, like with Heroes Con. I'm taking a certain amount of money, but I don't want to go bin diving. Go, oh, I got to get this. That's a House of Mystery. I need to get that Swamp Thing. I'm trying to focus on certain things, you know. Okay, we got a question from Legion. Looks like.
What's up, Mark?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how many people are you going to run over getting to the first Tron Harry screening?
Well, as soon as the tickets are available, I'm going to buy them. So I'm going to order the pre-sale tickets, and I'm probably going to see it more than once. And I'm going to see who has the best, like the giveaways, like where you buy the popcorn buckets and stuff like that. I'm going to see which theater chain is offering the best of that. And then out of 1 to 10, a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I'm going to mow them all down. I'll be stepping on old ladies' backs. I don't care. Dying to see that movie. And not because I think it's going to be amazing. Yeah. I want to see it first before everyone tells me how bad it is. Like I want to see it because I don't have high hopes that it's going to be great. I think it'll be good. I hope it's great, but I don't know that it will be great. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to see it before everyone throws their reviews out there and starts trashing it. So that's my flame cells of the devil. Yeah. So that's my plan.
From, we got Quentin's want to know, as an art, is there one artist you pursue? I'm assuming he means pursue over more than another, you know?
Yeah. So I do. So I collect. Okay, as an art buyer, if I'm talking about my cover art, when I say an art buyer, I don't necessarily mean original art, although I do collect that as well. But I'm talking about cover art. So I like Greg Land, I like Adam Hughes, basically all the cheesecake artists. I like Dave Stevens. Probably my favorite good girl artist would be Wally Wood. So I collect a lot of Wally Wood stuff. So that gets me into the golden age. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's actually it's my second favorite book of his. That's a good one too. Yep, I like that. Be careful. If you show something I don't have, I'm going to claim it. So be careful.
DNA Agents. I need that. I'm looking for that DNA Agents book. And,
I have a very extensive collection of Dave Stevens. So I'll show just a quick if you'll indulge me.
Oh yeah, I'm always. You said the magic word, Bubs. You said Dave Stevens. So yes, I will indulge you.
All right, we'll do this. So this is my comic book cabinet, right?
Oh, I like that.
So we'll close this door for nobody has to fool with that.
So Captain America 100 right now. I'm just
yeah. So this is part of my room. You all get a little mini room tour here. So this is my comic cabinet, and it holds, if no bags and boards, I'd have it in 3,000 books, which is where that original number came from. When I bought this cabinet, I cut it down to 3,000 books.
Okay.
But I cheated because I bought another cabinet that has my slabs, but I'm not counting that because slabs take up so much space,
Yeah.
But it has my slabs. Golden Age are in those black boxes, and then down at the bottom are my mature for mature audiences only.
Oh yeah.
So
advisory.
Yeah. So everything is also very organized.
There you go.
So here is the inside of that cabinet. So when you say DNA agent or DN, how's it go? DN, it's actually DN agents or something
agents.
like
It's
that.
DN agents. It's everybody
Right.
always says it wrong.
So
It's like
here's
Ninja.
detective.
It's like Ninja K. You know, they call it Ninjak, but it's Ninja K.
So here's detective, and over here is doctor for Doctor Who. So it should be fairly close to the back here. So let's see. Oh, we're still in tech. That's in doc. So we're close.
So Matt H has a question, and I'm kind of curious about this because I need
There you
this.
go.
There it is, DN agents.
Yeah.
I got a Matt
And
H.
that other book you showed was it's Airboy, right?
Airboy number 5, yeah.
So there's my signed Dave Stevens signed copy of Airboy number 5. And I hunted for that pretty hard.
Oh my gosh. Oh my, that's
yeah.
And he's not with us anymore, as everybody knows. So
no, they're not making any more of those.
There's no new signature books coming out. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go to a CGC signing or submit a book.
It's not a custom cabinet, but I customized the cabinet. So it started just a regular filing cabinet, and then I modified the drawers. You hear my New York accent coming out. I modified the drawers, and then it's got foam board dividers and everything inside. Inside. So each of these is about approximately a short box.
Swag. Yeah.
And then I loaded the front with top loaders so that I can change out whatever book's inside in the front.
Yeah. Like a cool display, so you can display books. Yeah.
Right. But also with rules. So my rule is that the book in the front has to represent one of the titles in the back. In other words, this Batman 181, it is from the Batman. So Batman's here. So that way, when I look at it, here's Captain America, 100. So here's my Cap run here, and I have all the Captain Americas from 100 to, I forget. It's some of the Steranko. I forget what number it goes to. It's like 112, 113.
Oh, yeah.
And then same thing with Daredevil. So I have, the first Daredevil was over there. There's that little wall there. So there's X-Men, Daredevil, Cap. That one's Stan Lee signed in a rare good signature.
Yeah.
And then there's my Hulk 181. There's my first Harley in a 9.8 newsstand. And there's my Wrightson signed House of Secrets 92.
Oh, wow.
So, but over here, so in my Daredevil run, I collected all the first issues, all the yellow suit issues of Daredevil. Yeah. So I have all those. And I basically collected all the Wally Wood run of Daredevil, who's my favorite, probably one of my favorite artists, if not my favorite artist. So, and a few extra keys that I like.
I love those World of Wood. I wanted to get some of those. And I used to have one of his dirty books. You remember I sold it, though, for like $200. It was like a high-grade copy. It's called Malice and Wonderland.
They're in this closet over here because...
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the Malice and Wonderland? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Malice. Yeah, Malice in Wonderland is down there. There's a Wally Wood Strange Worlds book right there, and that purple one. So, yeah, I've got a bunch of Wally Wood, ton of Wally Wood.
That Malice book is like some of those books are really hard to find in a high grade, and they're hard to find, period, some of them.
Here's some more. That's kind of like my Golden Age, top shelf Golden Age stuff.
I love that. And I think you sent me a Superman before. I think I remember when you got that. Didn't you get that?
I just picked it up this year. I was super, super happy. I got it at I got it at Lexington.
I like that Starling. Does that say Starling Comics?
Yeah. Starling 47. That's Alex Schomburg, another one of my favorite artists. So I collect a lot of Schomburg. And then here's like statues and figures and pops and stuff like that. So anyway, that's enough of all that.
Okay.
Or whatever whatever you want. I don't care. We're here to please.
Well, I like to cater to my guests. We don't have to get all like, oh no, you can't do that. I like what Chris Collins said here though, Bub. He said, every time I see Valkyrie, I question how those twins stay in the top.
I know. I just assume that there's panels that we don't see. They didn't stay in, right?
She probably had some
So,
gaffer's tape or something on there. They're like,
yeah, I bet that's it. It wasn't any painter's tape. It had popped.
Hey, it's like, wait, I'm a fan of wrestling, and every time I see Rhea Ripley, I'm like, she's going to bust out of that top one of these days.
Or you will. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of those. Or like, I'm telling you, though, like, I don't think Liv Morgan, she's going to have to start changing her costumes because they're getting the bottom part of her costumes are getting smaller and smaller. So, but anyway, I digress. Yeah, well, that's some good stuff there, man. We love looking at like people's collections. So I have a question for you. I know you got some of your. Everybody has collecting goals, and you know mine. I've already said it. G.I. Joe #1, Captain America 117, like that. And I want the first appearance. Well, I guess it's the first full appearance. There's some debate over whether that's the first appearance of Gambit, right? Because of the, I think it's Uncanny Annual 14. But anyway,
what's Cap 117? First Falcon?
It is the first appearance of Falcon. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah, and here Adamantium Blade Comics and Collectibles says, love that cabinet. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Like, thanks for the room tour. Exactly. I loved it. That was Comic Conversations first room tour, by the way. So
all right, good deal. There's more. Right. There's all kinds of crap. My vinyl records collection and all kinds of stuff, but another time. That was the comic stuff.
He's a big fan of Mae Young, huh? All right. Well, I think she's pushing up daisies now, unfortunately. But funny story about Mae Young, when the Dudley Boys like power bombed her through that table off the stage that time, she said she told him he was going to be like easy on her, right? She goes, if you guys go out there, don't be a bunch of pussies and go easy on me.
Well,
hashtag the hand. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's an inside joke, but that's a wrestling joke. She gave birth to a hand.
Oh my God.
Episode of Raw. That was weird. Anyway, we're getting off the reservation here, so let's get back on track. We're talking about collecting goals. What are some of your collecting goals for this year that you've not already achieved?
I've got Golden Age runs to finish, and I'm really hoping to finish them this year. 2 in particular, Strange Worlds is a Golden Age run I'm working on. I'm always working on Planet Comics, but that's a long run. So so add more books to that run. And then also, and I don't think I'll finish my Dick Tracy run this year, Golden Age Dick Tracy run. So I'm going to keep adding to that and picking up the Harvey group. So I'm going to keep working on that. And also Captain Science is another run I'm working on. So basically Golden Age runs. That's my hope to finish some of those. Giant size. Yeah, good stuff. I hope to finish some of those. And I've got a couple of art pages and things down here and some original art and some from some of my favorite artists. So
all right.
Yeah, good stuff. And sketch commission covers, always picking up those.
Oh yeah, you collect original art a lot too,
or just not a lot. I don't. I know some people really like picking up like these pages, but they're so big, and even the books that they keep them in are just so big. So I don't pick those up. They're hard to display, and I like to display a lot of my collection. So, but I do like commissions. So if I have a good idea, then I'll find an artist that I think will properly do it, and I want to see that made into art on a sketch cover. So I'll do that.
He says you're also an awesome Squirrel Girl and Punisher on Marvel Rivals. So
hey, I lorded Squirrel Girl this week. I'm still picking fur out of my teeth.
I need to start playing that game. I need to get into that. I've been wanting to get an Xbox again. I got rid of my PlayStation 4 a while back for some comic books because I quit playing it. I was like, I'm kind of a retro gamer myself. I got an NES and an SNES and a Sega Genesis. So
that's fun.
I kind of kick it old school, I guess. But I like modern games. I need to get back into them. He said, congrats, man. Lord Squirrel Girl is awesome.
Yeah.
And Swagda says that game is so fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love that stuff. But yeah, we were talking about the original art. You know, I won, like I don't really got all the way to collect it, but I won something on a West Coast Dave Ventures. He was doing a giveaway stream, and he had a page as a page from the ones of the big pages before they sent it to be printed off or whatever. Mm-hmm. And without the dialogue, and from John Romita Jr. from Century. I think it was issue 4, and I just don't have anywhere to put it. And I got all these posters all up. It's put up in a closet somewhere right now.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, really extra big too. It's okay. Let's see what we already talked about artists and stuff. Well, you already talked about that too. So I know what we'll talk about.
Yeah, Matt H is asking, do I collect Chester Gould, Dick Tracy? So I do. I collect Chester Gould, Dick Tracy, and then also on the Harvey run, when Harvey was the publisher of Dick Tracy, just after the short Dell run, Harvey took it over, still in the golden age. And I'll tell you, Matt, when you get back. Anyway.
Go ahead. I just had to turn the camera off for a minute.
I'm teasing. So Harvey did a Dick Tracy run, and actually Joe Simon is the artist on those covers. And then Simon and not Garfunkel, but Simon and Kirby, right? So Joe Simon is the artist on those covers, even though they're signed Chester Gould, they're actually Joe Simon covers. So that's kind of a neat little twist on that run, and that's one of the reasons I like it so well. Hey, Tat, how's it going, brother?
Good to see you, Tat. Yeah. Okay, so here's another question. When did you decide, like, how long ago when and why did you decide to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this YouTube thing. I'm going to do a YouTube channel and do content about comic books and collectibles. What started you off on that?
I had a good friend in the community who is very inactive anymore. In fact, after not speaking to him for over a year, probably 2 years, he popped up on one of my videos and left a comment. I was like, I thought this guy might be dead. I hadn't heard from him, but Silver Age Dave, which probably many of your subscribers, some will know, some won't know. But he was a YouTuber for a while, and he did he had a huge collection. Actually, I got a chance to meet him in person, and go and look through his collection too, like meet him at his house. And just an amazing guy. And he had a video giveaway. Yeah, he was doing, how do you say, like he made a video as an entry to someone else's contest. So, and it was basically a comic origin, collecting origin story. Yeah. So I did that video. So that's my first YouTube video, is an entry video for someone else's subscriber contest, right? Where you just said how you got into it. And then from then on, and before that, I was just a commenter on Silver Age Dave, a couple other channels that I liked.
Yeah, that's how I started.
So from there, that's how I started. And then I was like, well, that's kind of fun. It's a whole nother. And at that time, I just had one short box, and it was like a third of the way full. I was just starting. And so very soon after I got back into collecting, or like you said, seriously collecting, very soon after that, I started in YouTube, just because I was already watching videos to find out about all these great books that were out there and what I was really going to get into, and commenting. And then I was like, well, I'll show it off a little. And there wasn't really, it's not like it is now. Like it's huge now. Like it's a big community now. Back then, even just, even just 5 years ago, it's not, I'd say it's 3 or 4 times the size it was 5 years ago, of people that all know each other. So it really has grown a lot.
Yeah. And it's, that's kind of how I just was like a commenter when I got back into it, and finally just stepped up. Then I did Whatnot sales, and so I was already streaming on there. I didn't show my face much. Then I didn't care. I didn't want to. Then I started showing my face on here. And I was just like, well, I'm just going to do it. I don't care if somebody, I don't know. I just get nervous, like, oh, they're going to think I'm an idiot or something. And then I saw all these other people doing it. I'm like, well, I guess I could do it. So that's how I got into it. And also, and I don't know, goes to my next question. And this is, I can answer it myself too. It's like, what do you like the most about it? And it's like, I didn't get into this to be a Comic Tom or Jim Mint. I don't think I'm going to make any money or be able to, do this full time for a living or something. But I didn't really have a lot of people in my surrounding area that really even liked comic books. So getting to get on here and talk to people that love the same thing, have the passion for the same thing. And there's like a sense of community. I know there's drama. But there's drama in real life. Everybody kind of overplays that, and I try to let it roll off my back sometimes. Although there are some stuff that happens that I'm like, what the fuck? But
I'll speak to that for just a minute, and I'll answer your question too. So for me, when I started the YouTube part, the live streaming wasn't really a thing as much.
Yeah.
So there would be like one or I would say you could count on about 3 live streams a week. That's it, a week from 3 different channels. That's it. And YouTube had it restricted to where you could only go live if you had a certain number of subs. So, and watch hours. So they've changed all that. And then really StreamYard, when StreamYard came around, because we used to go live on Google Meet and like Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't even exist anymore.
No,
it was clunky and didn't work great, but that was the best way we could do it. And this is all, pre-COVID, all that stuff. So when StreamYard became a thing and people started really having easy access to being able to do this, that's when it really exploded. And during COVID, it really exploded.
Yeah.
So when I first did it, YouTube was kind of like a separate hobby to me. Like, there was collecting comics. That was a hobby. And then playing in YouTube was another hobby. And much like you, I did it mostly just to hang out with friends, if you will, to get to know people. And I also found people would comment on my videos and very specifically about the way that I described art. And so they liked the way that I described art. And they also found that I collected some things that other people didn't collect. Yeah. So when I started getting comments that people were learning from my channel, and I always felt like, hey, Doc, and I always felt like, well, what are they learning from me? I've only been doing this for a year and a half at that point, when those comments started really coming in. But then you realize that, well, you learned from somebody and you didn't ask them how long they'd been collecting before that happened. So as long as I wasn't spreading any misinformation, then I felt like it was okay. And then I aligned myself with some seasoned veteran collectors, and I did a Monday night show that way everybody is nicer than he used to be. Yes. I've also chilled a little bit, as the kids say. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I used to be pretty abrasive to people. I want to say I am nicer. I'm mellowed out.
We have a question from Tat for both of us. I'll let you answer first. How did you come up with your name for your channel?
Ever since I was a kid. So Bub, right? B-U-B, from Wolverine, always saying Bub, right? Calling people Bub.
Yeah.
And so even when I was a kid, like I actually found an old middle school yearbook and everything said to Bub. So I guess I had that nickname at least that far back. So people used to call me Bub. So kids, when I was a kid, obviously not in the real world, but then here we are on YouTube and people call me Bub. So that's how. So Bub's Comics. It was normal. And then
I was calling you Bub when I met you, and you told me your name. I'm like, okay, I still call you Bub. So
yeah, most people, even when you know my name, most people still call me Bub, which is fine because, like I said, it's an old name for me. And then when I switched to having more content on my channel, that wasn't just comics. When I was doing vinyl music hauls, and I do some cigar content now. And so I was like, I need to change it to Bubs World because I don't have the energy to have 5 different channels, basically. Yeah. So I just put it all under one.
I consolidated mine. Like I have a love for movies too, and that's why I started doing I know it's the comic book channel, but kind of comics and movies kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. So I have that bad cinema show now where we do the B movies. And to answer your question for me, Tat, for one, I was obviously a fan of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, who were called their private detective agency or called Heroes for Hire. And also I thought, I always had a dream one day when I started collecting. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a comic shop and call it Heroes for Hire Comics? Because you think about it, when you go in a comic shop and you buy a superhero comic, it's like a hero for hire. So I was trying to be real clever. I don't know if it worked out, but I thought it sounded great. So I just stuck. I kept it, so.
It's a good one. Oh, and I was going to make a comment. I appreciate that, Chad. I was going to make a comment about the drama in the community. So when I first came into the community, there was some drama here and there, but it was very localized. Like one person mad at one person, not groups of people seemingly mad at each other and taking sides and all this. And I feel like one of the things that changed was that when we were all in it, nobody was making money on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the monetization requirements were pretty far-fetched. Now it's very easy to get monetized, but back in the day it wasn't. So we were all more like people. I consider YouTube to be a high school. Sometimes it's a middle school, but most of the time it's just everybody. There's cliques, there's groups, but most of the time people are just here to go to school and having a good, they're doing what they got to do,
Yeah.
But then somewhere after COVID, when the YouTube rules started changing, it became people using YouTube as a platform to sell and to do business. And I think that there's just a natural difference. Subs the Bubs. I appreciate it. I think that there's just a natural difference between, friends arguing, right? And when they're not getting along, but normally they are friends, and competitors fighting.
Or haters.
And I think that what's happened in the YouTube community is that it's filled with a lot of friends still, but it's also filled with people who see each other as competition and as competitors. Competitors for subscribers, competitors for views, competitors for their mystery boxes or whatever the hell they're hawking, or for their claim sales, whatever they have going on. They feel like they're competing, and instead of their subscribers being friends, their subscribers are customers or potential customers. And once that started really happening in the YouTube comic community, that changed things, because now I could be mad at somebody because they got taken advantage of as a customer, not a friend. Not two people disagreeing about something, but someone getting taken for a ride because someone else sold them a book that wasn't the right value or whatever, lied about something,
or lied about
the
value of it or something, or the condition,
all this kind of stuff. I remember when Comic Tom had 10 subs. Like, I remember when he started, and I was like, this is interesting. And a lot of us who were already in the comic community, if you will, we dismissed him immediately because, like, what is this? This is a clearly overproduced, this is not someone who's here to be our friend. This is someone who's trying to sell us something. Like, it was very obvious from the beginning. And that's not knocking Comic Tom at all. We just hadn't seen it like that before. Then a lot of people came in that were like him. Obviously, he grew, and people saw it kind of as kind of as a blueprint for ways to do things. And then some other people, people I'll put in other camps, say like Bueller, right? So Comics with Bueller. So I remember when Bueller started as well, and he wasn't really trying to make money off it. And even now,
that's what he told me.
The most uncomfortable things you ever see him do is when he's like helping someone do a sale because he's contractually obligated. So he his channel, I felt like he got sucked into it, but a lot of other people were rushing into it. So when you have customers, clients, followers and subscribers instead of friends, that's a different community. That's a marketplace. Yeah. So, and that's why the tension, that's why it's so much meaner now than it used to be, I feel like. Because people are arguing over their
somebody, or somebody got slighted by somebody, and
everyone's trying to hurt the other person's character. Like everyone's in court, like saying, "Well, don't trust this guy. This guy's a liar."
I could tell you stories.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, and that kind of stuff didn't happen before. Before, it was friends arguing. So you have, this guy called me fat, this guy called me stupid, and they would argue about that. And maybe they weren't friends anymore after, but a lot of times they still were. But when you hurt somebody's money, when you stop them from earning money as far as they're concerned because you've defamed them, or you've taken away their customers, or you're their competition and you're doing it better than they are, those people get angry and they get very defensive of what they see as a potential living, even if not now, maybe later. So,
and you got like the little cliques, like the groups, like man, I don't even want to say it. I'm not even going to say it because then they'll probably somebody will take a shot at me.
well, you know why? You know why it's different? Because back in the day, they were just friends. So a clique is just a group of friends, right? That's fine. I mean, you can feel bad about it, and maybe some of us with our traumatic childhoods or whatever, we didn't like cliques because we weren't part of them. But we probably had our own cliques. A lot of us did. So it's okay to have a clique. It's okay to have a friend group. But what happens when you become competitors? Absolutely. When you become competitors instead of cliques, you're not cliques anymore. When you're competitors instead of friends, you're not cliques anymore. Now you're collaborators. Now you're partners. So now you have to pump each other up and make sure that each person is getting likes and views. And we have a very tight group where we script everything that we say, and we make sure that that's exclusive and no one's allowed in, to make sure that you keep on brand and on message. That's not what you do when you're friends. That's what you do when you're partners, when you're working together.
And what I noticed, and this is not just exclusive to the YouTube comic book people, and I will say this, but there's something I was going to say, but I'm not going to. I'll tell you backstage. But like there's some big streamers on here, like they'll stream, and like you said, I agree about they treat their friends like fans, or the people that watch their subscribers like fans. And the only way, if you type something in the chat, they're going to ignore it unless you send a $5 super chat.
You know, it's part of it.
Yeah,
you know that's what people do now. It's there's some people who literally are trying to make a living off YouTube, and if you do anything to disrupt someone making a living, they are defensive of that, and I guess rightfully so. So it's just a matter of realizing. Well, it's just a matter of realizing: are your friends really your friends? You know, just because you like that person, you enjoy their company, or you make a comment on their video, is that person now your friend, or are you just their fan, or are you just their customer? You know, yep, that's true too. So I mean,
I'm gonna go back
it is
there.
how it is.
Saying, me and Aaron have done a thing. We're doing a thing with Sandman Mystery Comics and a lot of the other my friends like Platter Center. We call ourselves the YouTube Comic Book Underground. We're like the resistance. You know what I mean? We're not like you. We're like the New World Order, or for life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, yeah, we're trying to do it something different. Like, like I said, you can either watch my video or not. You know what I mean? I'm getting I celebrate when I get the subscribers, you know, like I do milestones, but like, to be honest with you, I'm just winging it on here, bub. Dude, I just like, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put a video out there. I don't do a lot of slick editing. If I do any editing, it's minimal. And I just like to have fun, though. You know what I mean? It's okay. If you want to make money at it, that's cool. But I'm telling you what, it's extremely hard to make money. Just because you get monetized doesn't mean you're going to be able to afford to do anything except maybe pay for your StreamYard.
Well, hey, all right. So here's what I'll say. This is controversial. At least people tell me it is. But there are people out there who believe that the only reason that they're not making money on YouTube is because they're missing a certain number of subs, or they need more exposure of some sort.
They need to crack the algorithm, right? Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yes, the algorithm is pushing them away, and you know. But the reality is, okay, this is my opinion only, and it's not, you know, coming from the mind of greatness. It's just my opinion that if you are someone who is very charismatic and people are naturally drawn to you, and you have lived your whole life by the ripe age of whatever the heck you are today, and you have noticed that people generally like you, and people want to hear it. If you can command a room in person, you can command a room in YouTube. If you are a natural salesman and you sell things well, you can sell things on YouTube. YouTube is just a way to expose you to more people. But if you are someone who is very awkward, has a difficult time, you know, getting along with others, making friends, keeping friends, holding conversations that people are engaged with, and if you think that more people are like, not this guy versus, hey, it's this guy, then Your YouTube channel may be about having a small group of friends, which is great, but it's probably not going to be that monetary, thunderbolt
Yeah.
that's going to catapult you into superstardom just because more people got to see you. People see you every day. Not everybody likes what they see, right? So, so if you're someone where everybody likes you, you're probably going to have a lot of subs and you're going to do pretty well. If you're the type of person that is a small friend group person, you're probably going to have a small YouTube channel and it's not going to make a bunch of money.
Well, I mean, I want to expand. I mean, it would be cool to be monetized, but I'm not like going to die if I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, and also like, I don't know. I feel like as long as you're good at talking to people, you get along with people, then you'll be all right. There's always going to be detractors. There's always going to be somebody that don't like you. There's always going to be somebody that wants to shit on you. But the fact of the matter, you got to let that stuff roll off your back, especially on the internet. Look, if you're on any social media, you better have a thick skin. I know that. And sometimes we had an incident where I kind of blew up one day, but so I had to walk away. But I'll tell you about that later. I just don't want to talk about it here. But so this way, we got a fox in the hen house around here lately. You probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway,
but I don't keep up with the stuff because what happens is to me is that if you're here to have friends and to meet people and make friends, you have to recognize that you're going to meet some enemies along the way. And a lot of our smaller channels, like mine, my channel is just for me. I probably watch my videos as much as anybody does because I enjoy seeing my own collection. I enjoy, the stuff that I have and sharing it with others and finding people with similar likes and interests. That's what my channel's about. And that's what it's always been about. It's never trying to make money. And I have really valued the friends that I've made here. And I'm always open to making new friends with people that I didn't know before that are newer. And my friend book is always open, but I know that when that happens, you invite people anytime. It's like going on 51st dates. Every time you go to meet people, you're going to find people you like, and you're going to find people that like you, and you're going to find people you don't like. You're going to find people who don't like you. And then the worst thing is when you find someone you like and they don't like you, right? So that's the worst. Like the worst first date is when you meet somebody and you fall in love and they can do without it.
With them at all.
Like,
you don't
whatever,
gel.
that was a loss. You're like, no, it was a win. It was a win.
Well, the great thing though about and I was talking about this with Mad Spidey the other day, and a couple other people. I think Clip on Comics, and I was like, oh, these are my YouTube friends. But then I started thinking about, no, these people are my friends. I talk to them almost every other day. If it's not on here on Instagram or something, right? A lot of people I've met you. I'm going to meet a lot of these people at Heroes Con, and they're my friends. Let's just say friends. You know what I mean? That's just It's not YouTube friends, because some of you guys, I'd like to buy a beer with you. I'd like to have a beer with you one day. You know what I mean? Or smoke you smoke cigars. Hey, there's a good question. I don't smoke cigars, but what is your favorite type of cigar?
We'll talk brand. That'd be like saying, what's your favorite type of beer? So favorite brand of cigar would be Davidoff. I like Davidoffs. That's my favorite brand. So
all right, E-Man will be at Heroes Con too. And I just recently started getting to know him, and he's a good guy too, man. I like E-Man. Let's do it. Yes, right. We'll get some IPAs or something at Heroes or something, I guess. Yeah, see, like Aaron's like me. I used to call them YT friends until but now I don't. You have to get to know people, but here's Derek. Okay, here's a good point. Yeah, sometimes I can tell with some people, like some of the bigger ones, they're kind of phoning it in. Like I get to feel that some of these bigger YouTubers, their heart's not even in it no more. They're just doing it for a check.
You have to remember, or you don't have to, but it's my recommendation to keep in the back of your mind that the majority of YouTube comic book watchers don't collect comic books, and that's mind-boggling. Some people just don't even think that that's real. But look at the numbers. When you have a comic book channel that has 10,000 subs for their comic content, not because they're ripping off sitcoms and putting them in shorts, but the actual comic content with all these subscribers and all these views on their comic content, Do you think all those people went out and bought those books that week that were recommended to them? No. They're watching it for entertainment. So when they're watching it for entertainment, that you don't need for a hobby you're not actually involved in, and you're just enjoy learning about it and watching it, and maybe someday you'll get involved. You don't need 20 of those channels. You just need one or two.
That's right.
I mean, have you ever kind of fallen into something on YouTube and you just start watching it? And like, I follow tech channels. I follow all kinds of types of YouTube channels that of hobbies that I'm not 100% in. You know, I have a modest gun collection, and I follow gun tubers, if you will. And I don't have, 50 firearms. I got like 5.
Well,
but
I don't
still
play the drums, but I've been getting into a lot of watching people play drums, like do drum covers.
Yeah.
And
you have no intention of picking up a set of drums tomorrow, right? So it's like, that's part of it. I think that a lot of these people are they have a lot of people watching them, but they're not necessarily comic people. So when you say people can tell, yes, I think Derek was saying people could tell. Some people can tell. But you kind of have to be a comic collector to smell the BS. You have to be a little experienced to smell it, because some of them just flat out lie and make up shit about comics and characters and everything, and they're completely wrong. Their math is fuzzy. They say all this kinds of stuff, and you're like, that's not right. Does this guy even know anything about comics?
Yeah.
Do you even collect comics, bro? Like,
quote Remy, do you on YouTube, bro?
Yeah, exactly. So, and you don't find out until later, and some of the people, as they become better collectors or more experienced collectors, I'll say, then they start saying, that guy I used to watch, I don't watch him anymore. Well, why? Well, he's full of shit. Now I know better. But then you're one of his many followers, right? So.
Yeah. Well, also, when I was talking about the drums, I watch, there's a YouTube channel called Drumeo. And they'll have like drummers from like different bands come on. And they'll have like, say, the Megadeth drummer come on and try to play like they'll let him play. They'll play like a Taylor Swift song or like a Michael Jackson song without the drums in it. And he's got to come up with his own or song they've never heard.
Oh, that's cool.
He's got to come with
the drum and the beat. Yeah.
So it's kind of
like
cool.
that kind of stuff. Like I watched. There's a channel. This is I don't know. This is all I'll say about it. There's a channel called Mousetrap Mondays. Okay. And it was all about different ways to catch mice. And he had a video that came out every Monday. Now his channel is huge and he has like 5 videos a week. But in the beginning, it was just a simple video. Monday, he would buy and test mouse traps. I don't have a mouse problem. I don't buy mouse traps. I don't do any of that stuff. But I just really enjoyed it. I bought the t-shirt and everything. So I mean,
the great thing about YouTube is like, if you want to learn how to like change the carburetor on a 78 Monte Carlo, there's a video for it. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Like and then they'll send you carburetor changing videos for a month. Like they're sure you love it. And I'm relatively handy. So I use YouTube to fix things around the house all the time. So because of that, like there for like, God, it was over a month. They were sending me dryer repairs. I'm like, I only have one dryer. And I already watched the video and repaired the dryer. I don't need 25 more recommendations of other dryers that I might repair. It's crazy.
Well, that's how I first started, just having a few books that reminded me of my childhood. And I started watching the content. It's like, well, I want to get back into this, but I don't want to get ripped off.
Yeah.
I don't want to overpay for something. So that's how I started watching it. And I started out with like watching a lot of retro gaming stuff. Like, I don't know if you've heard of these channels, but like, Retro Rick and the Game Chasers. They're out of Texas. I bet I'd say that Great Legend knows what I'm talking about. And they would go around to all these flea markets and try to find cheap games.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Okay.
And it got me into it. And that's how I got into all these retro gaming again. And it's just, pure nostalgia. A lot of it, like a lot of people our age, in our age group, because we're probably around, I assume we're about the same age because we like about we started. Yeah. And so it's like that nostalgia feel. And like, look here, 78 Monte Carlo.
I know. Yeah. Poor Monte Carlo.
I have nothing wrong with 78 Monte Carlo. You can pimp those suckers out. But my favorite,
as long as it's got a good carburetor, you're golden. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I always like the Buick what's it called? Grand
Riviera?
Master. No, Buick Grandmaster or something.
No, I don't know that one. Called?
Buick Grand National.
Okay.
Those cars are badass. Because I want to have beers with Matt and anytime, bro.
Yeah. So I like retro gaming too, but I do emulation because I'm not going to spend a bunch of money for retro systems. So I do a lot of retro game emulation. And enjoy that.
That was a Grand National. Yeah, Derek and Adam actually got. I've always wanted a Buick Grand National. My cousin had one when I was a kid with the T-tops on it.
Oh, nice.
And they got the supercharger. I love those things. I actually used to have a Trans Am, but I crashed it into an 18-wheeler. I about got killed, but that's another story for another day.
I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, anybody's going to Heroes Con, I'm taking my Super Nintendo with me. So if somebody wants to ask, I'm going to hand out some ass whippings in Mario Kart. So,
oh wow, SNES Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what sucks though. But I can't help it, dude. I want to talk about movies. I want to talk about toys. I want to talk about comics, video games, and I'm going to. I don't care. I'm still going to do it. Yeah.
All that happens is that your subscribers slow down. So when I was just comics, right? Yeah, MAME, absolutely. When I was just comics, my subscribers steadily rose. And then when I started branching out into other, areas, the subscribers stopped. Now the views for some of those other videos, like my cigar content, does really well. People really like to watch it. I'll pick up a lot of subs from it. And any subs that I pick up from it, when I come out with a comic video, they might drop me as a sub. Like, what is this? I only care about cigars. But I still do it because it's me and I don't really care.
That's right. You got to be yourself.
And then also, in the end, every now and then I get that comment where someone's like, wow, vinyl records, comic books, and cigars? Yes, I'm here for it all. I'm like, all right. So I got one guy who's into the same stuff I'm into. Out of 28, days of YouTube history, there's one person. I found one person who really likes all the same stuff I like and is here for all of it. And that's fun. That's the nugget, that I'm getting. I'm getting that pride that there's other people like me who like the same things I like and care what I have to say about them. Like, that's good enough. I don't need another 100 this month because it's not going to benefit me anyway. I have a real job. I'm not trying to make money off YouTube as a living. It's just for fun.
Yeah, no person can be an island. I can't just be one thing. You know what I mean? I collect many things, and just like you, I collect toys and games, and I used to collect cards, but that's a whole rabbit hole I had to avoid because the card game. You see what
I have a lot of collections, so I kind of started collecting guitars a little bit, like because I thought I was going to learn to play them, and I didn't ever do very well. I'm just not very good at it.
And I will say something about Aaron here. He's got an album coming out. He's also a musician.
Yeah, he's working on the cover art now, isn't he? He just finished. He's working on cover art. Congrats, Aaron.
We're going to have a listening party in his Discord. Also, I have a Discord. I don't have the link for it right now, but I've been getting into that a little bit. Like, where I thought a good idea for it. Like, in the Discord, we'll have Comic One ads. So if anybody's looking for something, I know people say it in streams, but I think it's nice when the community comes together all the time. And the one thing I love about this community, we're getting ready to wrap it up, but it's like you don't realize how generous people are until you get to know them. And like, oh, I have that issue. I'll send it to you. Well, how much do I owe you? You know how many times I've said that? They say, no, don't worry about it. I mean,
one thing I'm not known for is my generosity. So if anyone's coming to my channel, I don't do.
You will find books for them, though, right? I've seen you find books for people. I know you found some for Mad Spidey.
Yeah, I find them, but I make them pay for them.
I'm going to give away an AF-15 or something.
I'm not buying them, though. I mean, that I'll do, like, especially for our international friends, because they have a harder time finding books. So if I see one in a convention, I'm like, don't you need this book? I try and pay attention to what books people are after. And if they're like, yeah, I need this book, I'm like, well, here it is. If you want, I'll pay for it. But then they got to give me the money back or I'm not shipping that sucker. Kidding me? That thing's going on eBay if they welch on it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, though. Like, if it's like, I'm looking for a book in a run, but I just meant like sometimes with the giveaways and stuff, and like people people will help you out, even if you have to pay for it. Like my friend Flat Earth Santa, I wasn't expecting him to give me a Godzilla King of the Monsters #1, but he got me a good deal on it, and I paid him for it. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I show books, art, and I do pigs. Yeah. And I'll just do it for okay, you got another sub here. I'm glad we got some subs for you, and
appreciate it. I hope
if anybody wasn't subbed to me. And
before I hope you like what you see when you get there. And if you don't, feel free to unsub. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Everybody subs stuff that you like. Enjoy it. Nobody owes me. You can be my friend and not be my subs. I got friends in IRL, as they say, in real life. They don't give two craps what I do on my YouTube channel. I got family that wouldn't watch one of my videos for nothing, and I still love them. So it's all good.
So look, I like what you got a nice compliment here. Here, Bub kind of made my day because I've been processing stuff in my head about similar topics. So thank you.
Good deal, Aaron. I hope it works out for you.
I like Bub too, man. He's a good guy. Before we go, I was going to say that I do have speaking of giving back to the community, I'm getting ready to get 400 of subs, and I like to celebrate it by giving back. So I'll be giving away these from a 400 subscriber. We got some
Alex Ross,
Justice. A lot of Alex Ross. We got a nice little cosplay cover here of Savage Tales 1. Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Amazing Spider-Man 794. It's a West Coast Avengers variant cover. Got Tom King.
That's cool.
I got this. I'll get through it. So I know I'm gonna bore the shit out of everybody doing this, but
I was part of it.
Hyde Street #1. Allen Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1.
That book looked familiar.
Yeah. Well, that came from you. This came from you, Adam Hughes. So you're kind of giving back, even though you didn't know you were doing it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not giving nothing. You freeloading bums. Get your own.
You're a bum, Rock. You're a bum, Rock. So that's the giveaway. And what's he say? Appreciate hanging out, you guys. Thanks for the fun. Hey, anytime Matt H, you're like
for sure.
And Fishcat said, Bub convinced me. I'll sub you.
You bum you.
And now, just one more little bit of business to show you is that next week, I do this show. No, I don't have it yet. But next week, my guest will be Adamantium Blade Comic Collectibles. My friend Big Jeff, he's a good guy. And what else I got going on here? Oh, yeah. Don't forget my show on Sundays, the Sunday Super Show Extravaganza, new comic book day previews, trending comics and hot comics of the week. A little speculation in there, the new key issues coming out, my top picks for variant covers of the week. And my favorite thing is called Out of Context Panels of the Week. We put a single comic up there and take it out of context. And don't forget, Monday at noon Eastern, another episode of Bad Cinema. We'll be reviewing Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
A classic of bad cinema.
Yes, very much a classic. And what our rating system is, we give it either 5 to 1 wings. So remember,
what is that? Is that a person?
Wing was he was a little 3-foot tall Filipino martial artist, and they made movies in the Philippines. Yeah, but all right, guys. He said, "Oh snap! I'm not following you, bub. Now I am. There you go. All right,
welcome.
All right, guys. Well, I'd like to thank Bubs World for being my guest today. This has been a great conversation. Like I said, next week we'll have another one, and I try to do this every week. And I don't just try to get people that have more subs in here. If they might have less subs than me, they may have 10,000 more subs than me, but I'll ask them anyway. And you never know. I even asked Comic Tom. I never got an answer. So call me, Tom. We'll get it together. But I'm sure he's not watching. But anyway, until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.